Venezuela has perhaps the largest oil reserves in the world, and Venezuela over the last few decades has been radically underproducing in relation to the size of those reserves. Indeed, many of its oil fields are in a rather poor state. So, what this intervention offers in principle is the opportunity for the US companies, the US oil companies, to come back into Venezuela and to drive investment to improve and increase Venezuela's output. Venezuela fits into the United States' wider competition with China and Russia in Latin America, particularly with China, because over the last couple of decades, China has made pretty significant investments in the resource sector across the board in Latin America, both in terms of hydrocarbons and in terms of metals. This is not something that the United States has been comfortable with, either under President Trump or indeed to some extent at least under Democratic administrations. A win for the United States in Venezuela is quite difficult. In fact, in some respects, very difficult. There are two aspects to this. First of all, the Trump administration has to find a means of stabilizing the domestic political situation in Venezuela. And that's going to be quite difficult, given that the regime, minus Maduro, is still in place, and that US interventions in Latin America in general have historically produced considerable resistance. The second reason is that the United States is going to struggle, or more accurately, the US companies are going to struggle to improve the Venezuelan oil industry in any short period of time. Donald Trump is, I think, deadly serious about the Greenland question. I don't think, though, that that is simply a matter of Greenland's natural resources. This is an issue for the Trump administration about Greenland's geopolitical position in the Arctic, China's commercial presence in the Arctic, and Russia's military activities in the Arctic. Now, some of China's commercial activities in Greenland are very much about the resource sector, in particular rare earths. But the bigger picture, and we can see this if we look at the historical story of the relationship between the United States and Greenland, is that at moments of geopolitical tension, whether that be in the middle of the 19th century or whether that be in the early periods of the Cold War, that American presidents have had an acquisitive eye on Greenland's territory because of its geographical position and what they have understood as the implications of that position for the United States' own security.